You would be forgiven if you missed this, given the week we just shared. But if you rise above the minutia and look at the bigger picture, you'll see a decision that Trump made that is both hilarious and telling. I have to say, after watching him for 10 years, I still find myself marveling at the way the warm bowl of kumquat jello in Donald Trump's skull thinks. For those of us who follow politics closely, there's nothing more fascinating than the closing argument a party or a candidate makes, specifically on election day. Candidates appeal to their vision of the future, they tell overly mushy stories about voters they met on the campaign trail, and most importantly, they encourage people to go vote. Usually. But in this case, Donald Trump stood on the sidewalk in a bathrobe, emptying his shitter directly into the internet, like Cousin Eddie after spending 24 hours at an all-you-can-eat shrimp buffet. Trump woke up on election day and at 6 a.m. posted this 276-word aneurysm in the middle of his government shutdown. It said, if we don't do the termination of the filibuster, by the way, you know he can just say terminate, right? Then the world will end. Republicans will never win an election again. He threatens that Democrats are going to pack the Supreme Court, give statehood to D.C. and Puerto Rico. Don't threaten me with a good time, Donald. And of course, immediately terminate the Second Amendment. By the way, he knows you can't amend the Constitution with a majority vote in the Senate, right? Now, besides the spelling, punctuation, and every single argument he makes, there's really only one problem here. And that's that even if they did the termination of the filibuster, Trump's own Senate just voted in 3 consecutive votes to terminate his tariffs. They only needed a Republican majority to block those votes. Meanwhile, over in the House, Mike Johnson is terrified to seat the newest Democrat because she will be the final vote to force the release of the files. The reality is, in this dream scenario where the filibuster no longer exists, he's still going to be about as effective as a toddler behind the wheel of an 18-wheeler. Best case scenario, nothing happens. Worst case scenario, everyone dies and then he claps his tiny hands thinking he did something good before he goes and takes a nap. But you guys, I have a secret. Donald Trump doesn't want to eliminate the filibuster, just like he doesn't want the government to reopen, and just like he knows he can't run for a 3rd term. This is just Donald doing what he always does, which is to line up excuses well in advance of his failures. Also, we can try to hide from the grim reaper of accountability when it shows up at the ballot box to claim his legacy.